Alright folks, buckle up, because tonight we are diving into the wild world of vaping. Picture this, you're at a party, minding your own business, when suddenly, a plume of smoke engulfs you. It smells like cotton candy, unicorn tears. Welcome to the confusing, often contradictory, always entertaining world of vaping. We'll explore its history, its health effects, and its impact on society, all while hopefully having a good laugh or two along the way. From humble beginnings to clouds so big they'd make Zeus jealous, vaping's come a long way, baby. Believe it or not, the idea of vaping has been around longer than you might think. Fast forward to the 1960s, and we meet Herbert A. Gilbert, the true OG of vaping. He envisioned a smokeless cigarette alternative, a device that heated liquid to create vapor. But like a phoenix rising from the ashes, or should we say, a plume of mango-flavored vapor, vaping re-emerged in the early 2000s, thanks to a Chinese pharmacist named Hon Lik. He created the first commercially successful e-cigarette, a device that looked suspiciously like a cigarette, but promised a healthier alternative. And thus began the vaping revolution, a revolution that spread faster than you can say sub-ohm tank. From zero to hero, or at least from zero to every corner shop, vaping's popularity has skyrocketed. How did vaping go from a niche invention to a global phenomenon? For starters, vaping offered a perceived healthier alternative. Add to that the allure of customization. With vaping, you're not just inhaling nicotine, you're practically a chemist mixing and matching flavors. And let's not forget the social media factor, with cloud chasers blowing massive plumes of vapor on YouTube and Instagram. Vaping, the rebellious teenager of the nicotine world, attracting everyone from curious teens to disillusioned smokers. For smokers, vaping offered a way out, a chance to quit traditional cigarettes without giving up nicotine entirely. And then there were the non-smokers, the curious ones, drawn to the allure of vaping. Whatever the reason, vaping quickly became a symbol of rebellion, a way to stand out from the crowd. And let's be honest, sometimes that's half the fun, isn't it? Forget boring old tobacco. Vaping's all about the flavor. From sweet to savory, there's a vape juice out there that'll tickle your fancy and possibly your gag reflex. Yes, we're talking about the endless and frankly, sometimes bewildering world of vape juice flavors. This explosion of flavors is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's hard to deny the appeal of puffing on a cloud that tastes like your favorite dessert. On the other hand, it's raised concerns about vaping's appeal to young people, who might be more enticed by the sweet and fruity flavors. Time to ditch the my uncle's neighbor's dog walker, said anecdotes, and get down to the nitty-gritty of vaping's health effects. Because when it comes to vaping and health, there's a whole lot of noise out there. On the one hand, you've got the vaping evangelists praising it as a miracle cure for everything from smoker's cough to existential dread. On the other hand, you've got the doomsayers predicting a future where everyone's walking around with popcorn lung and a side of nicotine addiction. Vaping is still a relatively new phenomenon, which means we don't have the long-term studies needed to fully understand its impact on human health. Scientists and health experts have been working tirelessly to study the effects of vaping. And while there's still much to learn, we're starting to get a clearer picture of the risks and potential benefits. Let's dissect a vape cloud, shall we? Prepare for a crash course in propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, and other ingredients that sound like they belong in a high school chemistry lab. Ever wondered what exactly you're inhaling when you take a drag from a vape? Well, buckle up, buttercup. The basic building blocks of your average vape juice are propylene glycol, or PG, and vegetable glycerin, or VG. PG is a colorless, odorless liquid that's been used in everything from food additives to theatrical fog machines. VG, on the other hand, is a thick, sweet liquid derived from plant oils. Then, of course, there's the nicotine. This is the addictive substance that makes cigarettes so hard to quit, and it's also present in most e-liquids, albeit in varying concentrations. Now, here's the thing. While most of these ingredients are considered relatively safe on their own, inhaling them into your lungs is a whole different ballgame. Vaping versus smoking, the ultimate showdown. In this corner, we have the reigning champ, cigarettes, and in the other corner, the young contender, vaping. Cigarettes are terrible for you. They are packed with thousands of harmful chemicals, many of which are known carcinogens. Smoking cigarettes is the leading cause of preventable death worldwide. Vaping, on the other hand, is marketed as a safer alternative to smoking. E-liquids typically contain far fewer harmful chemicals than cigarettes, and the process of vaping doesn't involve combustion. However, safer doesn't necessarily mean safe. Cigarettes are the undisputed heavyweight champion of health hazards, while vaping is more of a lightweight contender with a lot to prove. Vaping Nation. From trendy teens to your chain smoking aunt trying to quit, vaping's gone mainstream. But is society ready for this plume-filled future? Vaping has gone from a niche hobby to a ubiquitous presence. Teenagers huddle in parks, comparing the latest mods and swapping stories of epic cloud-chasing competitions. But this rapid rise in popularity has left many feeling a bit like they've wandered into a smoky episode of Black Mirror. What is clear, however, is that vaping has sparked a societal debate as heated as a freshly fired up vape coil. The law versus the vape. Governments around the world are scrambling to regulate vaping like a pack of bloodhounds, chasing after a particularly elusive cloud of cotton candy scent. Vaping has presented governments with a rather unique conundrum. On the one hand, it's demonstrably less harmful than traditional cigarettes. On the other hand, it's a new and largely unregulated market, with the potential to hook a new generation on nicotine. Some countries have embraced vaping as a harm reduction tool, implementing sensible regulations. Others have gone full-on prohibition, slapping hefty taxes and advertising bans on anything remotely resembling an e-cigarette. And then there's the US, where the FDA seems to be playing a never-ending game of regulatory whack-a-mole. Cue the dramatic music. It's big tobacco versus big vape, in a battle for the hearts, lungs, and wallets of the nicotine-loving public. Big Tobacco has been pouring money into the vaping market like it's a bottomless tank of e-liquid. They've bought up smaller vape companies, launched, fund their own brands of e-cigarettes, and even started lobbying governments to relax vaping regulations. So who will win this epic battle for nicotine supremacy? Only time, and perhaps a few more regulatory hurdles will tell. Let's clear the air, shall we? Grab your lab coats and your detective hats as we debunk some of the most persistent vaping myths circulating the internet. The internet, that glorious bastion of free speech, cat videos, and unfortunately, wildly inaccurate information. Take, for instance, the ever-popular popcorn lung myth. While it's true that some e-liquids contain a flavoring agent called diacetyl, there's no evidence that vaping, even at excessive levels, poses a similar risk. Then there's the gateway drug theory, a perennial favorite of those who view vaping as a slippery slope to a life of heroin addiction and petty theft. The point is, dear viewers, when it comes to vaping, it's important to take everything you read online with a grain of salt, or perhaps a pinch of that delicious smelling mango-flavored vape juice. In the murky world of vaping, it's easy to get lost in a cloud of misinformation. Let's shine a light on the truth, shall we? One of the biggest problems with the vaping debate is that it's often presented as a black and white issue, a battle between the righteous forces of public health and the evil empire of big vape. But the reality, as is often the case, is far more nuanced. Yes, vaping is not without its risks. Inhaling any foreign substance into your lungs, even if it's just a delightful blend of propylene glycol and blueberry flavoring, can't be entirely harmless. More research is needed to fully understand the long-term health effects of vaping, and it's crucial that we approach this issue with a healthy dose of caution. However, it's equally important to acknowledge that vaping is demonstrably less harmful than smoking cigarettes. This is not a matter of opinion or conjecture. It's a scientific fact, backed by numerous studies and endorsed by reputable health organizations worldwide. The implications of this fact are significant. For smokers who have struggled to quit using traditional methods, vaping offers a potentially life-saving alternative. By switching to vaping, smokers can significantly reduce their exposure to the harmful chemicals found in cigarettes, improving their overall health and well-being. The truth, as they say, often lies somewhere in the middle. Vaping is neither a miracle cure nor a public health disaster waiting to happen. It's a complex issue with both potential benefits and risks, and it deserves to be treated as such. So, there you have it, folks, a whirlwind tour of the wacky, wonderful, and often downright baffling world of vaping. We've journeyed from its humble beginnings as a Victorian-era contraption to its current status as a global phenomenon, sparking debates hotter than a freshly fired up vape coil. We've explored the science, debunked the myths, and even braved the treacherous terrain of vape juice flavors. Seriously, bacon-wrapped shrimp? Who thinks of these things? And while we may not have all the answers, one thing's for sure: vaping is here to stay, at least for the foreseeable future. But as we navigate this brave new world of nicotine delivery systems, let's remember to do so with a healthy dose of skepticism, a commitment to evidence-based information, and perhaps a dash of that good old-fashioned common sense. Because whether you're a seasoned cloud chaser, a curious onlooker, or a staunch vaping opponent, one thing's for certain: the conversation around vaping is far from over. So, stay informed, stay curious, and for goodness sake, stay away from that fish and chips flavored e-liquid.